Welcome back. All right, you've heard of improv comedy, but what about Hip-Prov comedy? Comedian Colin Mockery of Whose Line Is It Anyway is coming to the Van Wezel in Sarasota along with hypnotist Asad Mekhi. The concept, some audience members get hypnotized and become part of Colin's improv trope for the evening. SNN's Marco Lomano spoke to the two men and has the details.
I'm Colin Mockery, world's greatest improviser.
I'm a master hypnotist.
We have a show called Hip-Prov. Why don't you explain your part?
My job is to bring up 20 volunteers, hypnotize them, whittle it down to the best 5 or 6 hypnotic subjects. Enter Mr. Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Colin then improvises with the people who are hypnotized on stage while they're under hypnosis.
How did this duo show originate?
I reached out through Colin's website. I sent a cold email introducing the topic. I had already been performing around the world, performing for Carnival Cruise Lines and Celebrity Cruise Lines and Royal Caribbean. I mentioned in the email I'd like to combine hypnosis and improv on stage for a unique comedic theatrical performance. Colin's longtime manager, Jeff Andrews, got back in touch with me. From there, the rest is history.
Even if basically you're telling people to do the same thing, but they're different people each time, the results, I always feel are a lot different show to show. So in a way, I thinking about it a little more now, I feel like an improv comic almost is a good fit to mess with the recipe on that, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it certainly adds a new flavor to it. And it's fascinating to me that every night we find like an improv superstar. It's Assad unlocks their inner genius, and they truly just react to everything Assad and I do. There's no thinking or going, they just immediately respond, and hilarity ensues.
We are far away from the regular stage hypnosis show, which is always the, hey, do you make people bark like dogs and cluck like chickens? This show is not that at all. It is a unique theatrical experience in that these people are part of our improv troupe for the evening. We treat them with respect and we make them shine on stage. For example, the finale of the show often is Colin doing an old-time radio play with the people who are hypnotized on stage. And these individuals are actually shifting and changing into the different characters that Colin comes into contact with. So they are very much equals in the scene with Colin.
Are there bits in the show that borrow from Whose Line?
Yeah, there's some aspects of certain games. There's a sound effects element where one of them, we're going to be providing all the sound effects.
Loudly and clearly into the microphone, the incorrect sound effect for whatever he suggests.
I fell down on the ground. Whoosh, 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 and immediately urinated.
More of the improv we're doing is more scene-based, as opposed to Whose Line that had a lot of gimmicky games, which I'm not arguing against because it gave me a career. But we have scenes like, we have a love scene between me and one of our hypnotized people. We do a duet, interviewing to be my superhero sidekick. I think people who have seen Whose Line will see a lot of similarities, but it's also completely different.
What's the difference then between, I'm working with Wayne Brady, I'm working with Ryan Stiles, or I'm working with who knows tonight?
The hypnotized people, their eyes aren't as dead. So that's nice. I'm getting something back from them. They're, when I'm working with Wayne or Ryan, even though we're improvising, I have a general sense of where they're going to go in the scene. I don't have that with these people. So I have to actually listen more than I would with the Whose Line people. There's at no point do I go, oh, I know where this scene is going to head. It's always like, oh, here's a different direction we're going in. Okay. And then it's up to me to sort of keep the narrative going and head towards some sort of conclusion. But it's I guess, more work, but it's more fun because it really keeps me on my toes.
It is a comedy high wire act because we are just juggling balls and hoping that everything works out okay.
if somebody comes in, they don't need to try to volunteer themselves to be hypnotized, but what if they're kind of on the fence? What would you tell them, if maybe they're kind of hesitant but are persuadable?
I would say that it's also a very normal, natural state. So you're constantly cycling in and out of these trance states all the time. When you watch a movie and you get so caught up in what you're watching that you move to a physiological response. So you watch a tearjerker and you start to cry, or you watch a horror movie and you jump in your chair. That's a hypnotic trance state. So it's a very normal, natural state. And again, you're going in and out of it all the time. Very relaxing, and it's fun. Take a chance and have some fun. We don't pick on anybody. We only ask for volunteers to come up on stage to be hypnotized. And truly, we get stormed every night, because who wouldn't want to get on stage with the world's greatest living improviser, Mr. Colin Mockery from Whose Line?
Who indeed?
I know I'd be excited.
All right, there are still tickets left for Sunday's show at the Van Wezel. The performance is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Ticket ranges for between $25 and $60. We have a link to purchase those tickets on our website, snnTV.com.